Test one, one, two.
On today's Inside the Game, the U.S. men's national team fall to South Korea 2-0 on Saturday. Luis Suarez gets a 6-match hammer for spitting after the League Cup final here last week. And the Michigan High School Soccer Coaches Association Week 3 boys rankings are out. Who fell? Who rose? We'll find all that and more coming up right now on Inside the Game.
Welcome to Inside the Game on the National Soccer Network. Now, here are your hosts, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wangler.
Good morning and happy Monday. It's Inside the Game, episode number 153. I'm Jonathan Turner. That's Nate Wangler. Our producer, Ryan Glinsky, here on this Monday morning. I'm live in our Shelby Township studios. Nate Wangler in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And first off, Nate, good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It was a relaxing weekend. We had one game on Friday, and then I just got to sit back and kind of vegetate a little bit on Saturday and Sunday. I had a chance to watch some football both days, as well as some soccer. We'll dive into that this morning. I got to say this. We're going to dive into this quite a bit here throughout the show. I made a video about it. If you're not pissed as a U.S. soccer fan, then you just don't give a shit, right? That's how that's how I look at it. Either you give a shit and you're pissed, or you're so past giving a shit that you don't care anymore. Very much like that of probably the Lions fans, right? Who stopped giving a shit, and now they care because their team's winning. Or now, well, they lost yesterday, but I mean winning in the last number of years. So I feel like we'll dive into this a lot this morning, a lot to get to this morning. A great weekend in the sports world. Saw a lot of really cool things happen. Before we dive into that, though, Ryan, I have to ask this question. On Friday, we dove into this moment about a gentleman who was 54 years old, Dorking Wanderers. Right? Did he play this weekend? Did he actually get into a game? Did he actually do anything?
No, I don't even know if this is real anymore because the outlets reported it. I get it, but looking back at the game against Tottenham, which they did win 2-1, Tottenham FC, which is the fourth best team in that division. He wasn't. His name was. Here, let me pull up the. Where's the guy at? Yeah, here it is. This guy. Terry Dunn. If you go in and look at the actual lineup and the timeline of the game, he's nowhere to be seen whatsoever. He's not actually on the field, was not even on the bench, nothing like that. So I genuinely don't even know if it was true. Maybe he had a medical condition, had to go to the hospital before the game. Maybe he got hurt in warm-ups. I mean, he is 54 years old, but yeah, I don't know. I genuinely don't know if it's true, but he did not get into the game.
Dorking did win, though, 2-1.
Yeah, Dorking did win.
They did win. So
yeah, their emergency goalkeeper from loan apparently came in time. I don't know. that I think it was just a whole publicity stunt, and we talked about it. So, yeah.
We obviously have much more news to talk about here this morning. We'll dive in that here a little bit. Nate, before we do that, I know the Whitecaps ended their regular season here this weekend. How'd that finish up?
Good. Yeah, they're competing for a championship. They start their playoff run on Tuesday. Is in terms of the what would be number 7? It's interesting. They had 92 wins, so that ties not only the best record in franchise history, but I think it's the best winning percentage in minor league baseball since 1995. So before both Ryan and I were born, that was the last time a team won 92 games in a minor league season. So that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool accomplishment. As for the rest of the weekend, there's a saying out there, JT. It's actually Mike Valenti. Mike Valenti used to talk about it with my broadcast partner, Dan Hasty, when he worked with him on the radio side. It's called root for radio. And what root for radio means is that when good things happen, that's great. That's great. Like, we all want to talk about good things. We all want to talk about happy things. But when the team that you cover loses, and emphatically, it actually gives you more to talk about. So this is going to be a great week for us. Michigan got smacked. Their quarterback looked like a freshman. Hey, turns out he's still 18 years old. Doesn't matter if you spent X amount of millions of dollars on him. He's still 18. The Lions did the Lions thing. Hey, turns out when you lose both your coordinators, you might take a step back. This is the NFL, people. This is how this works. And then obviously the most important one, the one we're going to talk about on this show, the U.S. men's national team is not good, boys. And I know we all made predictions, but we all gave them the benefit of the doubt and said they would at least score 1. They didn't even come close to doing that. So, we got a lot to cover on the show today.
Well, we do. We come back here. We'll dive into some of the news here from around the soccer world. You're watching Inside the Game here, number 153 on this Monday morning.
Flint City Bucks are Michigan's top soccer franchise with 4 national championships, 9 conference titles, and 15 Great Lakes Division titles. They have produced 107 players for Major League Soccer, and they focus on attracting top talent and shaping soccer's future. Michigan Bucks Academy joins NLS Next new competition tier starting in September of 2025. This offers elevated levels of play and flexibility for high school participation. The Academy will provide premier development, high-performance training, and exposure to scouts through regional tournaments and MLS Next events. For more information on tryouts, training programs, and key updates as we prepare for our first season in MLS Next new tier, visit MichiganBucksAcademy.com.
Welcome back here into Inside the Game here on this Monday morning. Jonathan Turner alongside Nate Wangler, Ryan Glinsky, our producer. We're live right now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Roku TV, so you can watch us in one of 4 places. Also tagging along this morning our TikTok followers as well. So good morning to you as well there in TikTok land.
Yeah, tell them to get some questions for the mailbag segment. So
So get some questions, and if we can, we're going to dive into this here. First, we're going to talk about Alex Morgan. Alex Morgan, this past weekend, had her number retired in San Diego. Obviously, Alex Morgan, one of the most prolific U.S. Women's National Team players. She retired again by the San Diego Wave FC. She scored 123 goals for the U.S. Women's National Team and 60 NWSL career goals. Two-time World Cup champion, gold medalist, and a bronze medalist. Again, I say she'll go down as one of those prolific. If we talk about where she stayed, we even talked about this, I think, in our top 5. She was in the top 5 for me, top 5 for you as well. Abby Wambach, Mia Hamm, Alex Morgan. These are players that will go down in history as the best women's players to ever play the game here on U.S. soil and across the pond. It's a great honor for her to have that number retired.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I mean, there's a reason why she was in that top 5 for me. I mean, the impact that she made on the field was outstanding. And anytime you make a save that's known as a save heard around the world, I feel like you cemented yourself as one of the greats. And so it's really cool to see that. Wait, you're saying Alex Morgan? My bad. I was thinking Hope Solo. I'm getting my players mixed up
save
over here.
Heard around the world.
Different player.
I mean,
different
did she
player.
have a goal line clearance?
Hold on. Is there like a wah, 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 wah?
Is there? There's a cricket
Oh,
sound.
all right. I guess that works.
Nope. Nope.
Oh,
There we go.
There we go. All right. Hey, we're learning. But she was a part of that crop of me watching, like, growing up. Like, there's different generations, different iterations of that U.S. women's national teams throughout the decades. She was a part of that squad that I consumed on my way up, at least in following international soccer, in the men's and the women's side. But yeah, the impact that she made was outstanding. So rightfully so. That was the right move on the part of U.S. soccer, and I'm excited to see that for her.
Yeah, no question about that. She, again, I'll continue to say this. She'll go down as one of the most prolific players ever.
Still not in your starting 11, though.
Yeah, she's still not my starting 11. It's true. Yeah, she's not my 11.
I think she's first off. Is she in mine? I don't remember.
You know, actually, in the graphic, I had not in JT's starting 11 of all time, but then I got rid of it because it didn't look cool. Like, it looked weird, and I was like, show's about to start. But
that's okay. It's all right. No big deal.
It's fine. It's all good.
Also announced here on Friday afternoon, Luis Suarez getting a 6-game ban here. That will take place starting next year, though, in the League Cup. So, as I mentioned before, they're gonna send this to the League Cup, so he cannot participate in basically the entire tournament next year, the League Cup. Now, the MLS supposedly is still reviewing this, and they might hand down a suspension for this as well. Don't hold your breath. We know where that might go. But he is again banned for spitting on the Seattle Sounders staffer, a 6-game ban. That will include all of next year's League Cup.
we could.
You guys go first. I don't. Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
Honestly, like a random day, we could do top 5 Luis Suarez incidents in like soccer.
Probably good.
Because he's at least got 10 that we could do. We have to break it down. Biting, the handball against Ghana, spitting, not shaking Patrice Evra's hand. Like, there's a lot that we could talk about for a top 5 for Luis Suarez.
Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
a not top 5, if you will.
Yeah,
don't.
not top
Not a top 5.
That's
you
probably,
necessarily
probably
wanna
the best way to look at it. Not top plays. Not. Hey, so if you were living in a bubble this weekend, or at least on Saturday night and into Sunday, you wouldn't have known this, but now you do. U.S. men's national team lost to South Korea here on Saturday afternoon, 5 o'clock kickoff in Harrison, New Jersey, at Sports Illustrated Stadium. And if you didn't pay attention to this game, like we did, I mean, I focused heavily on this match for a number of reasons. One is how are we going to our shape? What was our possession going to look like? And more importantly, what were the stats at the end of the game going to be? And if we look at this, first off, we'll look at the final score here. Again, it was 2-0 in favor of South Korea. Son Heung does what he does best. He scored an early goal in the 18th minute, and then they scored another goal. I believe that second goal came in the 38th. It was in the first half, right?
I
Or was
believe.
it, yeah, it was in the first half. It was. I think it was like 30, like the 38th or 39th minute. But I just didn't keep track of the actual scoring point when they came
18th
in.
and 43rd.
All right, so later in the first half.
Yeah.
The thing that I noticed the most out of this game was how dangerous South Korea was in transition. That is the one thing. It's like U.S. had the ball. They moved the ball around. They could go, about 50 yards of the ball, and then they would do nothing would happen in the attacking third at all, right? Nothing of substance, at least until the second half. But as soon as they lost the ball, how quickly South Korea moved the ball up top, started making things happen, and created dangerous opportunities. Now, in totality, in the entire game, this to put it in perspective, South Korea had a total of 5 shots. 5 shots the entire game, of which 4 on target, 2 in the back of the net. Here's a look at the box score from this game on Saturday. Look at where the U.S. men's national team, where they had the majority of the stats. They had 17 shots, of which 5 on target. Obviously, both those stats good for better than what South Korea did. 54% of the possession. They had 574 passes, of which 87% of them made it their way to their target. Again, if we look at this, and we didn't even look at the score, you would assume that the U.S. men's national team would have won this game.
Yeah,
box score alone.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of these stats that are just like they just don't tell the story.
Yeah.
If we look at the game for what it was, if you watch these moments, I never felt, except for in that second half scrum where you had Pulisic. I want to say it was, I'm not sure who actually got the touch on the ball. Was it Balogun who had those 2 chances inside the 6? Couldn't find the back of the net. Like there was like 4 or 5 chances within about 12 seconds that happened inside the box. That was the only moment in that game that I felt that they were dangerous. There was a shot that took place too that was outside the box from about 30 yards out. But outside of that, I never once felt the U.S. men's national team were dangerous in this game. They were never dangerous.
And they don't play a dangerous brand. That's the same exact product that we saw during the Nations League. That's the same exact product that we saw during the Nations League against Panama. That's the same exact product that we saw against Canada. It's the same uninspired product that we saw against Switzerland. If you want to be possession-based and you want to pass it off your back line and control the ball, then we've seen them do that. And a lot of their stat lines in all the games that we've seen leading up to this look a lot like that. I mean, they control possession, they move it around well, they create opportunities, they generate chances in front of net. Generally speaking, they're going to have the edge in a lot of those categories. And I've said that before too, like we do a good job of that, handling the ball. But if you're generating chances, what do you do with those chances? And if that's 0, nothing, you can't even put 1 in the back of the net. Yeah, that's really concerning. And you look at the interviews afterwards, and I know we're going to touch on this here in a little bit, but this attitude that, well, we were the better team, it just, it was a good performance, it just didn't end up going our way. No, the scoreline actually tells a very different story than that. And so what I saw out of that game was pretty much the same thing that you saw. And again, it goes back to what we talked about, JT, possession with purpose. I mean, that was the biggest thing that you preached after the Nations League debacle and them getting bounced out by Canada. And obviously that was after Copa America and everything that happened with that. You said that this team right now is obsessed with playing a pretty brand of ball where they possess it. They pass it around. They stretch the field. They can get forward. And yes, they can create opportunities, but if that's not resulting in you scoring goals, then what are we doing here? What exactly are we doing here? So I saw the same exact thing that we saw. It was the same exact uninspired product, which was, I think, the most disappointing part about it because of how much momentum there was coming into these international friendlies. That's what I saw. I mean, I saw a lot of what you saw too.
Yeah,
especially in the defensive
I don't know if the momentum. I don't know if we have any momentum at all. I mean, the only momentum that we have right now is just to be fair, is a bunch of bullshit nonsense that's happening behind the scenes. The media, along with what's being said in documentaries about the bitchingness about what old players have said about this new team. Outside of that, there's nothing more to talk about other than how bad they're playing. And we can talk about creativity. We can talk about all those things. At the end of the day, this team is not going to win by being creative. Okay, I'm going to say that, and I'm going to say that as quietly as I can, so that you can still hear it. Right? We are not going to win games being creative. That's not how we're going to win games.
Yeah.
And if we think that's the way we're going to win games, then you should be checking yourself into the nearest hospital, because we're not that. We're not that. That's not what we are. We are a team that will beat you by punching you in your mouth. That's how we'll beat you. And we're not seeing that. We're not seeing that at all. And that is what everyone loved about the Landon Donovan, Clint Dempsey generation. Because we punched you in your face. We went right through you. Nothing about this team. I mean, I don't see, like, again, we talk about this, Captain America. Christian Pulisic, as far as I'm concerned, if he's not in the middle of the field, will be pointless for us. He might as well be sitting on the bench. Him being out wide makes 0 sense. He is the best player on the field. So if he is your best player, he needs to be on the ball as much as possible. Period. Now, does he have a supporting cast? Here's what we put in the middle of the park on Saturday. We put Diego Luna. Now, I love Diego Luna because of his grittiness.
Yeah.
But Diego Luna has no business being in the middle of the park in these matches. I'm sorry, but I'm not a professional coach. I am not an international coach. But to put this newcomer, so to speak, who is a gritty player, Diego Luna needs to be out wide. Luna needs to be out wide as a midfielder, out wide. Now, he should not be a holding mid, and he should not be attacking mid. He should be an out wide midfielder where he can use his speed and his energy and all that stuff where, one, he can't hurt you out wide, but he can certainly hurt you inside. I don't know what that decision was. That was terrible. And I like Luna, but no business being out in the middle of the park. No business. Again, we know these are friendlies, and we know we're trying to quote unquote kind of build, our roster and all that kind of stuff. But it's like the fans. The fans want to see something here. We want to see some signs of life.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't see any signs of life on Saturday. I mean, again, Captain America doesn't even come up to the microphone at the end of a game. I mean, this is your quote unquote leader. That's what we keep saying is he's not a leader. He's dismissive. He's arrogant. He's all these things that you'd want out of a player if they're actually performing on the field. Like, you hated Deion Sanders, and I was just watching that America's Team, that whole thing
it's
this
a great
weekend.
Documentary.
Great documentary. You see, they were loud and in your face, but what they did though is they backed it up on the field. Who is the player that's going to back it up on the field for us and also be a leader to talk about this team and to help showcase this team? This team is in disarray still. This team is not where it needs to be. I wish it would be different. I wish it could be different. And then we're going to talk about Pochettino and his thought process, because what he's saying, it to be fair, is another
another doozy.
Just another negative.
Yeah.
It's another negative. I know you watched this game too, Nate, but looking at this game for what it was on Saturday, it was a stepping stone for I think the start of these 9 remaining games leading up to the World Cup.
Yeah.
And while we don't need to see wins aren't necessarily like the barometer, but how you lose is so important. And we didn't lose this game the way that it would make all of us feel better. Like if we lost in a 1-0 gritty game, comes down to 88th minute goal, or hey, there's a mishap and a ball deflects off a player to an open player, whatever. Okay. But I mean, the combination play in the defensive third, the attacking third for South Korea, I mean, it was not good for us to defend. It was very good for them because they had so much time to do what they wanted to do.
Yeah. I guess you leave Chris Richards on the bench. You kind of make your own bed. You sleep in it. So that's again, and I said this the other day, we're playing build a team right now. And I said over 280 days from the World Cup. It's actually under. It's only 276 days until the World Cup. So just had to clean that up really quick. But that's exactly where we are. And again, that's the most frustrating thing about this U.S. men's national team is that you can look at the stat sheet afterwards, and we have multiple times before, and we've seen the edge and opportunities and everything else along those lines, but it's not resulting in what we want to see, which is W's. And that was the one thing that I learned and I took away from this weekend. And I know we'll chat about what he said specifically here coming up, but this mentality that, we don't have to win. We don't have to win until the World Cup comes. Like, we don't have to win. We don't have to care. It doesn't have to matter. We don't have to get the results until the World Cup is here. Like, you don't, for the coaching staff, it feels like a preseason vibe. It feels like a build a team. It feels like we're just throwing darts at the dartboard and trying to figure out who fits where and who does what. But for the fan, for the people who follow and still care about this U.S. men's national team, winning matters, because winning, in my mind, and maybe you can relate to this too, is something that can be contagious. When you learn how to win, you can go out and find ways to win. And right now, this team doesn't know how to win. Like, that is the most simple component of all of this. They don't know how to win. They don't know how to win consistently. We don't know what our best group is. Be interested to see what they throw out against Japan, but this is the most concerning part. Throw out the record against top 30 teams. I don't even care about that for right now. You're not even looking competitive against those top 30. Again, back to what we were just talking about.
Yeah, but stats are deceiving, right? So we if we look at those stats, you would argue that they were competitive on Saturday. I mean, you could argue that they were. They led in a lot of categories. The problem here is
lost a combined 6-0 though against their last two top 30 matches.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you on that. What my and we had a question coming in from Dan from Indiana, by the way, about how to fix this, and I want to get into that in a moment because there's a simple fix to this, and we'll dive into that in a second. And I want you to finish your point, but I just think that we use this word competitive, and I like the fact that we use this word competitive. But for me, these games come down to singular moments. There are singular moments within the game that are the daggers that kill a team. It happened the 18th minute, happened again the 43rd minute. If any one of those moments could be solved, the game's a different game. And so I think it's important to acknowledge that. But how do we stop that from happening? We'll get to that in a second, but I want you to finish your point.
No, that's the entire point. I mean, that's the entire point in terms of how to fix it. Listen, if you have a solution for this, I am all ears. I'm ready to hear exactly what you have to say in terms of how to solve it. I hope that it's swift. I hope that it's something that could actually work. But that's my entire point. And again, you can look at stat lines and claim this, that, or the other thing, but ultimately it comes down to who puts the ball on the goal more than the other person, and that's really what, when you look at that, I think ashamed was the word that you used on social media. And I think that's fairly accurate, but it seems like the wavelength that the fan base is on is very different than the wavelength the coaching staff is on right now. It's just not a priority for them.
No. And it leads us, and we'll get into that in a moment, because again, it starts, from the top down, right? It's a top down mentality, right? Everyone takes their P's and Q's from leadership, whether that be the head coach, general manager, president of U.S. Soccer. It doesn't matter. That's what everything kind of, again, falls top down. And so if the mentality of your head coach is one that we're not in a place where we're concerned, when we're all looking and going, what are you talking about? I mean, we're less than 10. What is it we don't know? I mean, what is it that we don't know? I mean, we're watching the product on the field. Like, we watched Michigan lose to Oklahoma on Saturday. On national TV, we saw Bryce Underwood. We saw him. He's an 18-year-old. We saw how he didn't perform like a 22-year-old. Why? Because he's 18. He's a freshman. It's only his second game. He is still catching up to what it's like to be a Division I football player in the Big Ten, playing against the likes of the SEC. Like, these are big games, big-time moments, and sometimes players need the learning curve, right? But we can all look at that game and go, He's just not ready yet. He's just not there yet. Great player. Probably going to be a great player in college. Just not quite ready yet. So we can all look at it and see it. Why is it that our head coach can't see that for the U.S. men's national team? What are we missing here? I mean, Ryan, you watched this game. What are we missing? What am I missing?
Nothing. You're missing nothing. I didn't know if we were going to continue to keep talking, but yeah, I genuinely don't know. They just don't look good at the moment. I don't know. You guys have all said everything that I was going to say, so I don't really want to repeat it. But
what was the term you used? Cooked? Is
yeah,
that what
we're
the kids are
cooked.
saying nowadays? We're cooked.
Yeah, we're cooked.
We are cooked.
We're cooked
fried.
as a nation.
We're seasoned.
But yeah, no, we're just struggling. In the comment he made about, we're just trying to win the World Cup now, or wait to win the World Cup, but we got to use these games because we missed an opportunity with the Gold Cup. We really did. We missed an opportunity to have that continuity with everyone. But in the end, like, we are just struggling to play with each other. And Pulisic, I remember when he was going to the 2018 World Cup where we didn't qualify. We lost to Trinidad. We were the best. Like, we were the best at when Pulisic was in the middle, when he was creating everything for an old Clint Dempsey, an old Josie Altidore, for all those guys. And you can argue that the talent out there with like a Weah or a Balogun, you can argue that the talent out there is a little bit better. But if you move Pulisic, who's better than he was in 2018, move him into the middle, it should result in the better things. But in the end, I just don't think ultimately the U.S. cares right now. And I don't want to, add insult to injury here, but like, I'm just saying who is right and who is wrong in this whole situation. I'm just saying.
Hey, you said 2-1.
Huh?
You said 2-1. You get half credit on that. You're 0.5
Well, he
and
said they were going to lose, so I
you
said
did.
that. I mean,
You did. All right, that's fine.
he
That's
was
all right.
accurate
All
in
right.
his assessment of them losing.
Half credit.
But at one point on Saturday, I felt like after the score was 1-0, I'm like, well, at least we're all still in it.
yeah, this still.
Yeah. And
Yep.
then after the 2, I was like, okay, yeah, well, anyways.
Well.
To be fair, I mean, he was about like, there was 3 chances there inside of his 6-yard box that he was close to being exactly spot on for the second straight time. So
Yeah, John, you should be the one that knows that I get these predictions right. I
That
should really
was-
start putting money on
I know
this.
I did. I even said it. We said it out the other day. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a break. We come back here. We're gonna dive into what Maurice Pochettino even had to say here after this game on Saturday, and we'll tee up tomorrow's game as well. You're watching Inside the Game, number 153 here on the National Soccer Network.
Experience the thrill of the game like never before with NSN's Game Rewind. Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics, letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail. Whether it's a championship win or a legendary play, NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate. Call 586-304-4405 and start watching today.
Welcome back here into Inside the Game. Jonathan Turner alongside Nate Wangler and Ryan Galinsky. And Ryan is...
I couldn't find. I don't know why I couldn't find the dual cam for a quick
Well,
second.
it's because you went and got a Pepsi, my guy, during the
Yeah,
break. That's what
fair,
happens.
That's fair. That's on me.
Hey, so a question came up here on TikTok that I want to get into. And Dan asked on TikTok, he goes, what solves this problem? How do you fix it? It's one thing. It's one thing fixes this whole thing. And it's passion. It's the one thing that this team is missing.
I didn't think that's where
completely
you were going with that.
across the board.
I
And
didn't think that's
honestly,
where you were
at
going.
this point in time, if I could see Pochettino like grab a chair and throw it out onto the field in anger, at least then there'd be a sign of life from this coaching staff. There is no sign of life whatsoever. And at no point in time it's almost as like the ship is going down. He knows it's going down, and he chooses to stand inside the window like in that Titanic movie and wait for the thing just to come across. I'm going down with the ship. He's like, I don't care. It's like, yeah, okay. Oh, we're going down. Go grab my tea and stand inside the room where the water's about to go in. This is exactly what Pochettino's acting like right now. There's nothing there. He is defeated, it seems like. To be fair, I also feel like they should just fire his ass.
Well, so hold on. That's exactly what I was going to say. Can we just fire him? I mean,
Yeah.
is that an option?
Absolutely, it's an
I
option.
think,
it would
like,
actually maybe, again, it would be a panic situation too, but it would at least be some resurgence, in the passion department. Where is our passion?
Yeah.
That's what we need. We need passion from our leadership. And this is what I took away from that Dallas Cowboys thing this weekend, is that I did not realize how Jimmy Johnson was and what he demanded of his players. I learned that in that documentary. His players, they're getting their asses. They were working so hard. They were worked so hard. And they went out there and fought, and they gave it everything they possibly could, and it resulted in not one, but 2 Super Bowls.
Also, national championship at Miami.
And in Miami, right? I mean, you think about that, right? And then,
Yeah.
And then what did end up happening? They brought another coach in Barry Switzer, right? Who ended up doing what? He ended up winning a Super Bowl too, and he did it a different way. So you don't have to be this hard-nosed, all the time type of coach to get the results you want. You can also be the loving coach who's going to let you do whatever the hell you want, but demands the same thing from you.
Right.
I don't know what we have. Our leadership is terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yes. And this is why we talked about it during the whole Gold Cup hangover thing is still very much alive and well. I know we're past that tournament. I know that's happened. All that's gone down. The documentary's out. We know about it. We've talked about it. We've discussed it on this show, exactly how the leadership is lacking, how we want Christian Pulisic to step up in that situation because he is the best player on the field, or at least so we think, but is not willing to take those reins. And so we start asking the question of who's up next. And when you take a look inside the locker room, all of them keep saying, we're all on the same page. We're meshing well. We're getting together well. Everything's going the way it should. And you see these videos on social media, and it's like they're all smiles and all happy and all together. But again, when that doesn't play out in real time, when we don't get to see that on the field, that to me is apparent that the leadership and the camaraderie and the culture and the togetherness and the synchronized energy, it's just not there. And that's the most discouraging part. Like we can we could talk about formations and who we have on the field, and you didn't start Chris Richards and you didn't call up, X player or these players, and the list of guys that they didn't bring in and how many MLS players they have on the field. And again, maybe Diego Luna isn't ready for that position to be in the middle. I do think he is an inspired player. I like his attitude. I like his edge. I don't think he's necessarily great in that spot. We can talk about all these different things in terms of how the game is played, but really in my mind, this all parlays its way back into the same passionate conversation you and I have had for weeks now, which is there is no leadership in the building right now in U.S. men's soccer because the fish rots from the head down. If you look at any bad company, look at any bad situation, anything like that, the fish always rots from the head down, which means it starts at the top and it goes down. It matriculates down. And where does that start? It starts with Mauricio Pochettino. And maybe this is coming from him flirting with jobs at other clubs. Maybe this is coming from him keeping his options open. Maybe he's distracted. I don't know what is going on inside the minds of this coaching staff. That's the hard thing, is I can't even point one direction and be like, that's what they're trying to do. This is clearly what they're trying to accomplish. No one knows. This is the definition of just throwing darts at the dartboard. Yeah, maybe it's preseason. And that's why I said to that, the result maybe doesn't matter to the coaching staff. Figuring out who fits where is most important. But why are we doing this with just a short list of friendlies left to go until we're into the World Cup? Like, it just seems like, again, you're doing all of your prep work. You're doing all your studying for the exam the night before, or maybe a couple of nights before. And that to me means you're just going to be winging it when World Cup time comes around. So that's what it is. That's the most discouraging part.
Yeah, a comment coming in from Dan in TikTok also talking about how he believes that U.S. Soccer Federation just doesn't see it. Now, here's where I think I disagree with this, and I think they all know it. I think that U.S. Soccer knows, like what we know, which is we're not good enough. I've talked about that. I think they know we're not good enough. They know it. I mean, we have a tremendous amount of talented players in this country, but they're not the same level of talent other parts of the world. And so when you go out there, you see it in real time. We saw it. I mean, again, the speed of play that they don't need the ball for 90 minutes. They need the ball for 46% of the time. And they only need about 12 seconds to pull off a goal. Every time they got the ball, they were dangerous. And they didn't have the ball that much. I mean, if you watch that first half, they literally had the ball probably about 12 times in possession, and they scored on 2 of those possessions. It was like, and when you saw it, like, wow, like it was like a shot out of a cannon type of a moment. Like, holy crap, look what they just did. We can't do that. We're building the ball. We're working around our back line. We're trying to go up the sides and up the middle. We're stifled. We're done. Do it. Try it again.
Yeah. If we're not the big dogs, we can't play like the big dogs.
No, we can't. So
we can't.
They know this.
Yeah.
And so the question becomes, well, what do you do about it? And for us as Americans and fans of all sports, we are dumbfounded at the fact that we can't solve this Rubik's Cube because it's unsolvable. And the only hope we have of being competitive, and not just being competitive, but giving ourselves a chance to win here in the next 10 months in a World Cup, is to do something that these players are not built for. The vast majority of the players who are playing on this team are not built to go out there and to be fearless and to be gritty and to be tough and to be run through you like the players of yesterday. They aren't built that way.
Yeah.
Because we at U.S. Soccer were like, well, 25 years ago, when Jurgen Klinsmann was our head coach, he wanted to bring that style of play. The academies were born. And what did we want to do? Well, we want to play out of the back, and we want to possess the ball. And we want to get away from the things that got us the success that we used to have. And now we're seeing that. We're seeing the player out there who for the last 10 years couldn't have had a ball until they were 13 years old. They don't know how to have a ball. Like, that's the player we have now. And so, yeah, if we think that we're going to get anything different, we're not. We're not built the way we're supposed to. And to be fair, I think that what we've done in this country has put it back even further. That's why I keep saying that I might not even see us out into a World Cup final in my lifetime.
Probably not.
And I'm 44 years old, so unless I hopefully I live a nice lifestyle. 85 to me is perfect. So hopefully,
You want to get to the quote?
Huh?
The quote from Pochettino.
Dan goes, I disagree with that. Pulisic plays that way Pulisic is a gritty player, but the problem with Pulisic, and this is the biggest challenge I have for Pulisic, is that Pulisic, in this environment, in the U.S. men's national team environment, does not have an identity. In this environment.
Yeah.
He has one in his clubs.
Yeah.
He doesn't have one here. Why? Because, again, Superman needed even he needed a number 2. We all need a supporting cast. We all need someone to help us. He doesn't have that supporting cast. You can see it when he's making his runs on Saturday and the ball was being played to him. He was done. He's like, I'm out. It's like you can see it in his face, his body language. He's just not comfortable and happy in this environment. Now, could that change? Yeah, a new coach, different players being utilized differently. That could all change things. But he does not look comfortable. He looks out of place. And that, to be fair, I've seen that for years now.
Under Poach, he's looked terrible. Under Poach, he's looked really bad. To that point, yes. He has obviously built a resume with the U.S. men's national team, but ever since this new regime took over, it has not been the same. And again, I don't know. It might be the style of play. It might be they're not setting them up the right way. It might be that they're not putting them in the right spots. I don't know what the question is, but right now, yeah, there's Christian Pulisic doesn't have a lot to show, at least over the course of the last calendar year with this U.S. men's national team. I agree with that. I mean, again, if the best player on the field, or you think the best player on the field, which I don't think he was the best player on the field in this particular matchup. I think he was the second best between both sides, but you can't even set him up. I mean, he's looked terrible under Pochettino. I won't say that's all on him, but yeah, he's not looked good.
Yeah. Again, a lot to dissect here in regards to what happened here this weekend. We want to dive into what Pochettino said after the game. And I know that you already alluded to this here, Ryan, but do you agree with this statement? We have to start to win when the World Cup starts. That's when winning becomes important, is basically what Pochettino is saying. Now, I'm not going to disagree with the statement in its totality, because again, I mean, he's right. I mean, winning doesn't necessarily, you could go through all of these games and win every single one of them, and then come World Cup time, you lose all your games. And so we go, well, that doesn't, we won them, all of our friendly, that's great, but we lost when it mattered. I'm not going to sit. It's not how we win, or it's not winning or losing. It's how we win or lose is what we need to measure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's how we lost on Saturday. It's how we're going to lose tomorrow if they don't figure this shit out. And I already predicted that we were going to win this game. I said 3-0 against Japan. Now, granted, I'm going to have egg on my face here tomorrow night when we don't win 3-0 because I said 3-0, and it might be the way around. I mean, and so how we win, how we lose is important. If we had won on Saturday, an own goal, and the same thing, the same stat line, are we having the same conversation? I would say I am still having the same conversation. I mean, look, we won. Great, we won, but what did it mean? It just meant that South Korea couldn't figure out their shit in their six. They gave up an own goal. That's not a win, right? And so whether we had won or lost on Saturday, it's how we played that game, and we are not playing the game the way you're supposed to. That is not U.S. soccer. It is not what we are accustomed to growing up, and it is going to completely fall to shit here in the next 10 months. And if we don't figure this out right now, it's going to be over the entire World Cup. We're going to lose every freaking game.
Yeah, and listen, I'm all for trying to be supportive and trying to cheer on the boys, and I know we've talked about that before. Like, we need to be patient and realize how far we've come. Yada yada. Listen, okay, fine, but you're losing people very quickly. And the other part of that post game conversation was Poach complaining about how that there were more South Korean fans that came out and showed up to the game and watched the team. It's like, yeah, dude, you've given nobody a reason to really die on this hill, to really support this team, to go out of their way to spend all of their hard-earned money to watch you guys play. I mean, we looked at the ticket prices for the World Cup. It's like, I don't think I would spend even a portion of that to go watch this team get shut out and just get kicked around the field, because that's what it feels like, the direction that it's going. Like, you need to, if you want respect, you have to earn respect. And I said that during the Nations League because they were pissed about what the attendance was then. They weren't even the primetime game in their own country. It was Mexico who was playing at 7. The U.S. was playing the early game. Like, hey, man, you got to give people something to care about. And I know people will always say, well, it doesn't matter as much. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's not, when Mauricio Pochettino says, I want college football crowds at soccer matches, it's like, dude, you got to understand. You have to understand where we are culturally in the United States. It's probably not going to happen. But if you want more fans, right? Yeah. But if you want more fans, you got to. If you want respect, you got to earn respect. You got to show people something respectable to show up to watch. And that on Saturday was anything but. It was anything but. It was just another disappointment in a long list of what we've seen out of this team.
Question coming in on TikTok is, what is American soccer? So here's what it is. I'm gonna tell you right now what it is, okay? Because we saw it back in 2002.
What is American soccer?
Well, like, what is it? Like, what does it mean when I say that?
We play
like,
soccer in this country.
The style of play. Yeah, it is all encompassing. It is fearlessness. It is grittiness. It is toughness. It's physicality. It's the psychological component.
Defense.
It's all of it, right? The way we played soccer back in the day, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't a pretty style of play. It wasn't about creativity. It was about execution. It was about, hey, our goal is to go score a goal. It's about, again, possession with purpose. Look at our purpose on Saturday. Where was our purpose? There was no purpose. We were just possessing, okay, moving the ball around, okay? You look at the two teams. When South Korea had the ball, their intent was to go forward as fast as possible, right? And you saw that.
Yeah.
When you saw the U.S., we were possessing the ball. We're not able to find our lanes. We're not able to find our channels. We're not able to find space. We're not able to find those things. Why? Because South Korea knew how to defend. We didn't know how to defend. Now, how many times did we have a counterattacks where Reem is running down the field and he's trying to catch up to a ball because they played over the top or in space? It's not the way you want. You don't want you to have to be running towards your goal to defend 90% of the time when you're defending in a game. So when I say what is the American style of play, go watch a Western Michigan soccer game. That's the American style of game we need. Go watch Vermont. Go watch Vermont Green. Go watch the University of Vermont. Yeah. That style of play. Ballard FC, Flint City Bucks. Right? Those style of plays will win you soccer games. Where they possess the ball, there's no doubt about it. They outpossess teams. But when they get forward quickly. They don't waste time. They attack. We do not attack.
Yeah.
That's our biggest challenge right now. And we don't run through players. There are 8 fouls in that game. I want to see a game where we have 27 fouls. That sounds terrible, but you know what? Honestly, I'd like to see a game where we have 27 fouls. It means we actually ran through players.
Yeah, if you're going to lose at 100%.
That's right.
Yeah, lose at a breakneck speed.
So I want to see that kind of stuff. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our last break. We come back. We're going to dive into the Michigan High School Soccer Coaches Association Week 3 rankings. They were posted yesterday. We'll dive into that for a brief moment. We'll take some more of your questions, and then we'll do the question of the day. Don't go anywhere. 153 continues.
Are you ready to create unforgettable moments for your audience? NSN offers professional live streaming and full broadcast services tailored to your needs. From high-quality production to exceptional coverage, we ensure your game or event becomes a spectacle to remember. Book your next game with us today. Call 586-304-4405 to schedule your broadcast and let NSN bring the action to life like never before.
Welcome back here into Inside the Game. Jonathan Turner alongside Nate Wengler, Ryan Glinsky. Let's dive into here. We'll start with Division 4 of the Michigan High School Soccer Coaches Association Week 3 rankings. We'll put them up on your screen here. There they are. A change. The only change in all 4 divisions where you had the number 1 team bounce out of 1. In this case, Lansing Christian was your previous leader for the last 2 weeks. Plymouth Christian overtaking there in Division 4. Plymouth Christian at that 1. Grosse Pointe Woods University Liggett is number 2. Lansing Christian 3rd. North Muskegon is 4th. Granville Calvin Christian is in your top 5. The rest will round out the top 15. And I do apologize there at the bottom there. We do have that one graphic missing out that 15. There you go. Leland is at number 15. We'll dive now into Division 3. Again, each division has their top 15. Detroit Country Day still continues at 10-1. Pontiac Notre Dame Prep, who won the Division 3 state championship last year in that number 2 spot. Flint Powers Catholic. Frankenmuth still at 4. Elk Rapids still in your top 5. There are your top 15 for Division 3.
some love to Kingsford. It looks like is their number 15.
There you go.
I don't know
Kingsford,
why
number 15.
every number 15 spot is. No. Look at this one. Look at Division 2. Look at that.
There
Oh,
you go.
it's cut off again.
Yeah, it's
I
called
thought
it's
it
all
wasn't.
because it's advertisements, man. That's all what it is right there. Hudsonville Unity Christian still remains number 1 at 5-0-2. Forest Hill Central and Paul Kramer's side still rocking and rolling there on the west side of the state, 10-0-2. Warren De La Salle 9-0. New Boston Huron at 9-1, and Cranbrook Kingswood 5-0. Currently in that top 5, and then Marquette all the way down there, number 15. They're not only all the way down there, they're way up there. For us here in Michigan. They're way up there at 9-2-2. And then we'll take a look now at your Division 1. Again, this remains the same. Portage Central at 8-0-2. Ann Arbor Huron at 7-0. Clarkston 6-1-0. Okemos at 6-1-1. And Heartland there in the top 5. When they were asked earlier, what do you think of Heartland? There they are, 11-1. And Troy Athens, which was in the top 5 last week, all the way down now to 14. My alma mater, Royal Oak, beat them 2-0. Last week in a non-league roundup. So there you go. There, it made it into the top 15. Saginaw Heritage is number 15 at 10-1-0. Here are your honorable mentions, teams that did not make it into the top 15 this week. They are there on your screen right now. So Division 1, Division 2, 3, and 4. You can check out all these rankings on our website, thenationalsoccernetwork.com. They come out every single Sunday night, sometime between 6:30 and 8 o'clock Eastern on all of our social media. So we had some questions coming in. So let's get some questions in. Let's get some answers, right? What do we got here, Ryan Glinsky, in the mailbag?
What we got?
Oh man, there was a lot in the mailbag, especially with your little post-game reaction video. This one coming from Assassinated Beauty. They're going to be an embarrassment in World Cup 2026. And Octagon King, they've been playing horrendous for months. And then this is the one I kind of want you guys to respond to. This one is from Nino Poppy 101. Poch doesn't respect the job. On to 2030. This World Cup cycle is absolutely cooked.
You know, it's becoming hard to ignore that. I don't like calling for coaches' jobs when you are at a point to where you really shouldn't be hitting the panic button. But you phrased the question, Ryan, and JT for that matter, is if we lose this game against South Korea and we don't look good, we look uninspired, and if we get embarrassed against Japan, is it time to hit the panic button when it comes to the U.S. men's national team? I think the answer, especially if we get embarrassed on Tuesday the way that I felt like we did against South Korea, not only is it time to push the panic button, but what should happen when you push the panic button, right? Drastic times call for drastic measures. And I think if I'm someone within U.S. Soccer and I'm looking at the way that Mauricio Pochettino is leading this team right now, and we continue to see the same results, I don't see it as too far-fetched to say the same exact thing. I don't know if he's all that invested. I don't know if he's really the guy. So I think, although it would be crazy and it would throw a grenade into everything we're talking about, getting rid of him at this point doesn't sound like the worst idea in the world. So I think we're in the midst of pushing the panic button. I don't think there's really much that's going to save us from that. But this idea that he's not really all that invested, I don't think that's too far-fetched. I don't know about you, JT. I think he's got a point.
You know, the one thing I can't like sit here and tell you or believe to think that I know what he's putting into this job or not. And so I'm going to err on the side that he gives a shit. All right. But what I'm not going to do is, or what I'm going to do is say that what he's doing is not working. And that's the most important part of this. What he is implementing, what he's doing strategically, what he is doing tactically, what he is doing technically, all those things are not fundamentally making a difference with what we're seeing on the field. And we see it all the time. not only in international play, we see it all the time domestically. We see it all the time in the Premier League. We see coaches who are 5 games in, they're tossed into a brand new contract. Why is that? Because we're not seeing the product that we were promised. Now, I don't need to see some promised product. I just need to see results. We need to see something happening. And I've already said this. This team does not have life. Okay? To be fair, we're like on life support. We are literally, we have wires all connected to us, and we are, somebody else is breathing for us at this
Got an
point.
IV.
Like that's,
Yeah.
that's what we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are not able to do this on our own. We need assistance. And, you know, that in itself is our biggest problem. And so, we'll know it, by the way, when we see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'll know it when we're off life support, because we'll be talking about how fearless this team is, how different they're responding to these moments in games. And my hope is that we see that quicker than late, sooner than later. But that's not going to happen. Ryan, what is our question of the day?
Question of the day, which is reason JT your screen was a little messed up because I did not bring it into the final second. But before we get into question of the day, Salt Athletic is an official sponsor of us here at NSN. Use promo code NSN15 to save 15% off of your order. Also, scan that QR code or visit saltathletic.com today. But my favorite part of the show. Question of the day. What is the number one issue with the U.S. men's national team?
Boom.
Woo! 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 The number one issue? The number one issue in my mind is that just seems like there's no fight. I mean, is that an oversimplification of things? Yeah, probably. I mean, we can go into the nitty-gritty. We can pick out all the little details. We could talk about all the players that we played or didn't play, whatever. There's no fight. There's no fight. There's no fire. There's no forwardness. There's no, pardon my French, there's no FU to this team when there really should be. Okay, because everybody's cheering for you to lose. Oh, and by the way, they're cheering for you to lose even more because they're coming here to play you. There's nothing that brings the world more satisfaction than watching America fall flat on their face. The world does not like you. And guess what? You're not meeting that with an us versus the world mentality. So that means you're going to get smacked around. That means you're going to get walked on. And that's what we're going to continue to see if we have a team that matches what, in my mind, feels like the intensity level of the U.S. men's national team head coach Mauricio Pochettino. Like, you show up on game day, you do these PR things to try and build momentum, you try to get people on your side, you try to pull at the heartstrings and of people and meet them halfway. You want them to tune in and watch. You want them to come out and spend money to watch this team play. And what we see every single time is uninspired. I won't say lazy, but uninspired. Not even flashy. I don't even no passion. Just no fight. That's something that you cannot build a fan base, and you cannot expect them to show up and die and bleed red, white, and blue, because you're just not showing it to us. It's just not working out right now. I need to see a little fight. I need to see a little something. A little more mustard on my dog, please. And thank you.
I would say our biggest issue is our leader in Mauricio Pochettino is only there because he's getting a massive paycheck. He is the highest paid manager in international.
I just want to say you stole my whole. I'm
sorry.
I'll figure out another one. Keep going.
But my point is, our head coach situation really reminds me of the Pistons and Monty Williams. Monty Williams didn't want to be in coaching at all, didn't want this job at all, but he got $15 million a year, became the second highest paid coach in the NBA, and was like, all right, I mean, I kind of have to take the job at this point. And looking at Pochettino, I don't really think he wanted the job. He's just like, wow, they're paying me like $6 million a year, and I really don't have to do anything besides a couple of games a year, and I get to coach in a World Cup, which is probably always his dream. But I just think that we have a manager that doesn't really, really want to be there. And take it over, JT.
Yeah. Yep.
No leadership.
No woo.
It doesn't matter. We can take the Pochettino thing all day long. We can talk about the no fight, but it all stems to no leadership.
Yeah.
There's no leadership, and that's from everybody. That's players, that's coaches, that's everybody. And so when you don't have leadership, you get things like this. We talk about it, right? What you can look at the teams across the sports. Doesn't matter which sport it is. And when there was a lack of leadership, what did it result in? Resulted in the lack of results. Right? And so that's where we are. We have a lack of leadership. And when you have this leadership that we're talking about that this team needs, then the things that we are short on, they will be filled up by the intangibles that will get us to where we want to go. Because we don't have the tangible. I keep saying this. We do not have the tangible skills to go out there and compete for a World Cup final and be successful. It's going to be the intangibles that get us there. Because teams like Argentina rely on talent. Teams like South Korea rely on talent. Teams like Spain, teams like England, teams like the Netherlands. All of these teams rely on talent. They beat you on talent. So how do you beat them? The intangibles.
Yeah.
And if you need to go back in history and see any of those intangibles, look no further than 1980. Because we had no business winning that Olympics. Zero. We didn't have the skill, speed, the tactical abilities. Right? We had the intangible. We wanted it more, and we had all these other intangible tools that were gifted to us through what? Leadership. That's it. If that comes into play, and to be fair, it's we're past the threshold of where that can maybe even have an impact, unless you bring in somebody like right now. And every player on that team stops playing for their domestic teams and start playing for us for like the next 10 months. Don't leave. That's the only way that works. But, and again, we're already all over our timeline, but that's how this works. That's how it works. I want to thank everybody here today for being a part of the show. Another great show. We got a great lineup here of guests this week. Tomorrow on the show, we will have a guest join us, and Dan Passini. Panisi is part of VO. He's one of our partners that we have here at the National Soccer Network. We'll talk about artificial intelligence and the cameras that are being used right now in the soccer world to make more soccer available to you at home, as well as the analytical component of that. We have a conversation later this afternoon with, I believe, Mark Hubbard. We'll be doing that pre-recorded from NC State. That we'll look forward to having that conversation. The new rankings for this week of the United Soccer Coaches come out later this afternoon, so we'll keep an eye on that. But a great show. For Nate Wangler and Ryan Glinsky, I'm Jonathan Turner. You've been watching Inside the Game here on this Monday morning. Be back at it tomorrow morning, Tuesday. Nate, you will not be here tomorrow, but we'll have you in
back on
spirit
Wednesday.
as you are taking a nice, well-needed family vacation.
Yeah, just getting to see some extended family, people I haven't literally seen in years and years. But I will definitely be back on the show on Wednesday. I got to. I mean, after Japan, I feel like we're going to have a lot more to talk about with this team and everything else that's going on after that matchup. So I'll definitely see you guys back on Wednesday, though.
Well, there you go. Well, that is a wrap here on our show. I know Ryan wanted to hit it, man. Ryan, just hit it, dude. Go on, man.
Yeah, I was going to give you a horn for your family vacation because that's sweet.
Thank you. Hey, thank you, boys. Appreciate that. It'll be a fun time.
Well, go enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Thank you for watching Inside the Game. We'll be back at it tomorrow, same time, same place, right here on the National Soccer Network. From the biggest matches to the hottest takes, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wenger bring you the stories, the analysis, and the edge you won't get anywhere else. Streaming live weekdays at 9 a.m. on YouTube, Roku TV, Facebook, Twitter, and all major platforms. No filters, no fluff, just real talk, real soccer. This is Inside the Game.